All right, so one, I'm starting to lose my voice a little bit, and I have been for a couple days, so I've been holding this off until I thought that I would get it back. But unfortunately, yeah, we're going through it a little bit with a head cold. So my audience today consists of two cats, Nala and Mila. I apologize thoroughly if they hit each other throughout this video, but they are going to be my children that I'm reading to. So today I'm going to be reading you a book about some furry friends, and our book is called Bear Snores On. And the person that wrote this lovely book, or the people, I should say, there are multiple authors, are Carmen Wilson and Jane Chapman. So let's talk a little bit about the cover of the book and what we see before we start to read it. See if we can guess what this book is going to be about. So I see we have a rabbit and what looks like a mole and a badger, some type of bird, and we have this bear here who's sleeping. Oh, and there's a mouse. So there's lots of furry friends that are on our cover, and I wonder how they're all going to play a part in this book. So if you look at our title, it says Bear Snores On. So it's going to ask our participants what snores means. So Mila, what do you think snores means? Oh, she says it's a sound that somebody makes when they're sleeping sometimes, and I totally agree. That is what a snore is. So I wonder how that's going to play a part in our book. So that means that our bear is sleeping, which is what it looks like he's doing in our picture. Now I'm going to ask another question, and it's okay if you don't know the answer to it. What is it called when animals in the wintertime go to sleep for a long, long time? Does anyone know what that name is? It's okay if you don't. Keep that in the back of your mind as we read, and we'll see if we can make any connections to it at the end. And then there's sometimes that we have hints on the back of our books to talk. Sorry, my cat went out of my room. She's not appreciating the read aloud. Sometimes we have hints on the back cover of the book as to what our book is going to be up. So I'm going to check out the back cover and read to you the text that's on it and see if it gives us any hints. So it says, in a cave in the woods, in his deep, dark lair, through the long, cold winter, sleeps a great brown bear. So were we right when we said that Bear Snores On is probably going to be about the bear sleeping? I think so. There's not too many pictures in the back here. I see a tea kettle, maybe a napkin. Not really sure. So, if the bear is snoring on and on and on, do you think it would be easy to wake the bear up? We'll have to read to find out. Would you try to wake up a sleeping bear? No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't want to wake up a sleeping bear. They might try to eat me. All right, those were some really great predictions, guys. I want you to listen to find out what Bear Snores On is all about and what Bear Snores Through the book. Let's read to find out. Looks like snow and some type of hole here. Here's our title page where we have the title, Bear Snores On, and our author, Carmen Wilson, and our illustrator, which is the person who drew all the very pretty pictures in our book, who is Jane Chapman. All right. Sure of a bird over here. Maybe he'll play some part in the book as we go through it. In a cave in the woods, in his deep, dark lair, through the long, cold winter, sleeps a great brown bear. So when you looked on this page here, and I said that there looked to be like a hole, I'm thinking that must be the cave that the bear is sleeping in. So it looks pretty similar to this picture, and we can see the bear who's sleeping. What do you think a cave is? Does anybody know? Does anybody know? Any of my cat friends like to give a little input? What do you think, Milo? What's a cave? It's like a hole in a rock, a little shelter for animals. That's a good answer. That is what a cave is. All right. And this text here, in a cave in the woods in his deep dark lair, that sounds very familiar to me. Do you remember where we heard those lines before? Do you remember? Mila, do you remember? Right on the back of the book. Right, good job. Great answer. All right, let's keep moving. That was a good observation. Huddled in a heap with his eyes shut tight, he sleeps through the day. He sleeps through the night. He's kind of sleeping in a little weird position here, isn't he? He's got all sorts of things knocked over in his little cave. If he's sleeping all through the day and all through the night, when is he awake? Is he ever awake? If he sleeps all through the day and all through the night, when is he awake? He's not awake, right? Right. So if he's not awake, how does he eat? How does he eat and how does he drink? Maybe we'll see if we can figure that out by the end of the book. The cold wind howls and the night sounds growl, but the bear snores on. I really like this word howl. Does anybody know where they might have heard that before? Or if they have heard that before, know what it means? Well, when I'm thinking about it, I know that I've heard the word howl when I'm talking about like wolves howling at the moon. You might hear that on Halloween where the wolves howl at the moon. Can you guys show me, or let me listen to hear you howl? Can you howl for me? Go, oh. So if the wind is howling, do you think that's a noise that's very quiet, or do you think that's a noise that's really loud? Right, that'd be a really loud noise if the wind's howling. Yeah, I don't know how the bear sleeps through all that. Okay. Do you think you could sleep through a noise like the howling wind? I don't know. I don't think I could. An itty bitty mouse, pitter pat, tiptoe, creep crawls in the cave from the fluff cold snow. I want you guys to stand up and show me what it would look like for this mouse to be crawling around in the cave. Would he be making a lot of noise or making a little noise, trying not to wake up the bear? Plus, a mouse is a really small animal, so you think a small animal like that could make a lot of noise? Show me what it looks like to tiptoe. Nice job. Do you think the mouse is going to make enough noise to wake up the bear? I have to keep reading to find out. Mouse squeaks, too damp, too dank, too dark. So he lights wee twigs with a small hot spark. That's an interesting word too. Why do you think the twigs have to be wee or very tiny for the mouse to build a fire out of? I think one of my cats just told me that they have to be really small because the mouse is really small. So couldn't pick up a twig that's big. Do you think the fire and the light from the fire, do you think that will wake up the bear? We'll have to see. The coals pip-pop and the wind doesn't stop. Coals pip-pop and the wind doesn't stop. What noise did we say that the wind was making? We went like this, woo. Right, the wind was howling, and now the coals are going pip-pop, pip-pop. Those are some pretty loud noises. Is our bear awake yet? Nope, he's still sleeping. He's snoring on. The bear snores on. Two glowing eyes sneak peek in the den. Mouse cries, "Who's there?" And a hare hops in. So we can see right here, there's our buddy the hare. pops in. So what's a hare? What's a hare look like? What kind of animal do you guys recognize that he might be? That we remember. Right, a bunny. He looks like a bunny rabbit. So now we have what two animals in the cave? Right, we have the hare, the bunny rabbit, and we have the mouse. All right, let's keep reading. "Ho, mouse," says hare. "Long time no see." So they pop white corn and they brew black tea. Mouse snips, wee slurps. Hare burps, big burps. Oh boy, they're making lots of noise now. Bear snores on. So did any of that wake up the bear? Is he still sleeping? Yeah. A badger scuttles by, sniff snuffs at the air. "I smell yummy yums. Perhaps we can share." So what does the badger want to do? Yeah, he wants to join the party in the cave, and he's bringing, because he smells something super yummy. "I've brought honey nuts," Badger says with a grin. "Let's divvy them up, cozy down, and dig in." If you were going to join the hangout that's happening in the cave right now, what would you bring? What would you bring to the party? I think I would bring some kind of sweet snack, like cookies or brownies or something like that. I've got all kinds of salty snacks. I would need something a little different. And they nibble and they munch with a chew, chomp, crunch. But the bear snores on. Look at how much noise these guys are making to not make up this bear. Holy cow, he could sleep through anything. My parents used to tell me when I was little that I could sleep through a fire alarm going off. So I was a very heavy sleeper. Do you think there's anything that can wake this bear up? We'll have to keep reading. A gopher and a mole tunnel up through the floor. Then a wren and a raven flutter in through the door. There's lots of people joining the party now. Mole mutters, "What a night! What a storm!" Twitters wren. And everybody clutters in the great bear's den. So look how many friends we have in the cave now. Can we count them together? Can you count along with me? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 7 people in there. I think 7 people or 7 animals would make a lot of noise. I think so. I think they would make a lot of noise. They tweet and they titter, they chat and they chitter. But the bear snores on. In a cave in the woods, a slumbering bear sleeps through the party in his very own lair. He sleeps right through the whole party. Hare strokes the fire. Mouse seasons the stew. What's a season? Do you guys know what that is? When he says that the mouse seasons the stew, what do you think he's doing? Have your parents ever talked about seasoning something, like maybe their own soup or chicken or something like that? Right? You put spices on it, like salt and pepper or basil or oregano. That's what it means to season something, to give it a little extra flavor. Oh, what happens next? Then a small pepper flake makes the bear What do we know about pepper? What can it do to our noses? Oh. Chew! He blows and he sneezes and the whole crowd freezes. Uh-oh. Do you think the bear is going to be happy that all these animals are having a party in his lair? Do you think he's going to be happy that they woke him up out of his deep, deep slumber? What do you think he's going to do? Goodness. And the bear wakes up. Bear gnarls and snarls. Bear roars and rumbles. Bear jumps and storms. Bear growls and he grumbles. Can you guys do your best growl or your best bear roar to show what Bear's doing right now? Goodness, he doesn't sound very happy to me. Does he look happy? Look at the picture of Bear. Does he look very happy right now? What does he look like? What kind of emotion do you think is going through his head right now? I think he looks pretty angry. Hi, Mila. Thank you for joining us. Goodness. You've been stuck in my lair and you've had all the fun, but me, I was sleeping and I have had none. And he whimpers and he moans, he wails and he groans. How's he feeling, guys? Look at the picture. Do you think he's angry? What does he look like he's feeling? What do you think all these words mean? When he whimpers and he moans, he wails and he groans, what kind of emotion does that make you think of? Right? It makes me think that he's sad. He's sad that he's been missing out on all this fun that all these people have been having in his house. Wouldn't you be sad too if you were the bear? If everyone around you was having a whole bunch of fun and you were sleeping and you didn't know about it? You weren't included? I'd be pretty sad. What do you think is going to happen next? What do you think the bear's going to do now? Or what do you think the other animals are going to do? Do you think they're going to run away? Do you think they're going to try and comfort Bear? What do you think is going to happen? Mouse squeaks. Don't fret. Don't fuss. Look, see? We can pop more corn. We can brew more tea. So what did the mouse do? What did the mouse do to make the bear feel better? Right, he's including them in all the stuff that they were doing before. How do you think Bear's feeling now? Yeah, I bet he's feeling pretty happy. Can you see the smile on his face? Look how happy he is to be included in all the fun in the party. Bear gulps. Bear gobbles. He sighs with delight. Then he spins tall tails through the blustery night. When the sun peeks up on a crisp, clear dawn, Bear can't sleep. Oh, now he can't sleep. Before, that's all he was doing, right? He was snoring through everything, and now he can't sleep. So what do you think is going to happen? What do you think is going to happen? Does everybody look like they're having a good time too? You see the little mole in his arms? They all look like they're best friends, huh? But his friends snore on. Oh my goodness. Now that he's awake, what are all of his friends doing? Right? They're sleeping. Oh my goodness gracious. So he went through all that. They were all partying in his lair, and they were all popping popcorn and brewing tea and talking and chatting and chirping, all while he was sleeping. And then once he wakes up, all of his friends fall asleep. goodness. Did you guys like the book? What was your favorite part? Turn and talk to your neighbor and talk about what you liked, or turn and talk to your mom or dad and talk about what you really liked about this book. What are the parts that surprised you? I think the part that surprised me the most was that the bear wasn't angry at all that all this was happening while he was sleeping. He was upset that he missed out on all the fun. All right. So which of your predictions about the book were correct? All throughout the book, we were trying to think ahead about what's going to happen next. You guys gave me a lot of really great answers about what's going to happen. So think about which ones you got right and which ones you got wrong. So in the beginning of our little book today, I was telling you guys that maybe you have heard of animals during the winter time sleeping for long periods of time throughout the whole winter. And I said, I don't understand how they don't eat and they don't sleep, or they don't drink. So have any of you guys ever heard about hibernation in your science classes? Does anyone know what it is? Hibernation is like a deep, deep sleep that a lot of animals go into to survive during the winter. It's a lot harder for animals to find food during the winter. So they go into the sleep, and then during the sleep, there's these crazy things that happen. Their body temperature drops to like lower than the normal body temperature, and their heartbeat gets slower, which kind of sounds scary, but what's really happening is they're saving up all their energy so that they're not wasting it, and they can sleep and sleep and sleep to get through the winter. And before they go into hibernation, you'll see bears, they get really, really fat, right? Because they're eating all this food. So when they're hibernating, their body can use that fat that they have to nourish itself. And then they wake up when winter's over and they can find food again, so they don't need to sleep for months at a time. So that's a really great connection that we can make from our book Bear Snores on to science class. And if you haven't talked about it in science class, you might want to ask your teacher to bring it up, and maybe you guys can do a little lesson on hibernation. It's a really cool topic. And since we're talking about hibernation and fun books that talk about hibernation, I have a couple other books that you may want to ask your librarian to see in your library that are like the Bear Snores on. And those books are Sleep, Big Bear Sleep, Sleep, Black Bear Sleep, and Bear Has a Story to Tell. So they're all about bears, and they're all about hibernation. And they all tell these really fun little stories. So make sure you ask your librarian the next time you're at the library to see if they have any of those books for you to read. So by the end of the book, the bear made a lot of friends. But at the beginning of the book, I definitely thought the bear was going to be very angry when he woke up. But it turns out that he was sad that he fell asleep during the party. What did the other animals do to make Bear happy? Think about that for a second. What did they do to make him happy? Right, Mouse included him, and they made extra popcorn, and they made extra tea, and they listened to him while he told stories, and they included him in all the fun. So if you could turn into any animal and go to the party, what animal would you want to be? I think that I would want to be, I kind of like the idea of being a mole because I like their little faces. They're kind of cute. And they can tunnel on the ground, which I think is really cool. But if I couldn't be that, I would like to be a deer because I think deers are very pretty and they're fast. I think being a deer would be kind of cool. So I'm sure that you guys have been talking in your classes about what the lesson of the story is. So we're going to talk about that as well too. So what do you think the lesson of the story is? How did Bear feel once he was included? He felt pretty happy, right? So do you think that we in our everyday lives should include people in what we're doing too? Like if you're playing a game out on the playground and you see somebody sitting all by themselves, and they don't have anyone to play with, do you think you should ask them to play with you? So what do you think the lesson of the story is? Right, we should include others in the things that we're doing. We should include others in what we're doing. All right, well, thank you guys for coming and listening to this interactive read aloud of their Snores on. I really hope you enjoyed it, and I hope that you took away a lot of things from this book that you can apply to your science class, and you can apply to your everyday life when you're including friends and all the things that you do. Thanks again.